course in ditching is launched with a splash for second-class midshipmen at the Naval Academy. Dilbert the Dunker is the name of the realistic device which drops its victim in the water, then turns turtle, leaving him to unhook harness and safety belt and get out of there. Fast.
At the Aviation Water Survival Center, pilots endure grueling tests from escaping a downed aircraft and swimming lengthy laps to treading water. All under the watchful eye of Iraq War veteran Tom Alvarez.
There you go.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to save your life. You want to make sure you go from point A, point B, point C. It all flows, and it's going to give you the best chance of saving your life.
This reporter was invited to take a dip for a taste of the demanding drills.
Go!
Weighted down wearing a flight suit, helmet, and boots, it was no Sunday swim. In fact, I struggled.
We are here to build confidence and to make people feel more comfortable in the water.
In the pool, they're able to simulate real-life conditions pretty well.
Lieutenant Ross Hertzler pilots helicopters.
We train in the maritime environment, and then we operate in the maritime environment.
The Richmond native says the training is hard, but that's the point.
We get used to walking around in the gear or sitting in the helicopter with our gear on, but it's a whole different feeling in the water when you're trying to stay afloat.
Pilots must also crawl underwater, unlatch windows, and break out. Attempting this blindfolded was bewildering.
It is no joke. It's always going to win in the end, but we can kind of evade it for a little bit in order for us to get rescued.
Instructors even mimic an open water rescue. Sailors plucking pilots out of the sea to an awaiting helo above. One of the most challenging tests.
Come on up, take a seat alongside the ledge.
A metal monster with a reputation.
So put 7 and 8 and put one of them in seat 3 and then fall, you just kind of go wherever.
If you're claustrophobic or get motion sick,
You ready?
the Dunker is not for you.
Take a deep breath.
The Dunker plunges visitors into the depths and rolls over while you're buckled in.
The longer you can keep yourself calm and think, the prolonged time that you have in order to save yourself.
Outlasting the Dunker
Okay, guys, come on out.
is one giant stroke toward earning your wings, but most importantly, a lesson in survival.
All right, we got it. Good job, sir.
On realistic scenarios designed to prevent mishaps and to survive them if they happen.
Eject, eject, eject.
Water survival is the next phase of naval aviation survival training. Students learn how and when to release their canopy during a water landing,
All right, step off now.
as well as what to do if they're dragged across the surface, and how to manually inflate their life preserver units to help them stay afloat. The most critical part of pool training is the underwater scenarios. First is the swimmer, or shallow water initial memory mechanical exit release. Using a reference point, students crawl to the swimmer device, then operate a series of handles to pull themselves through and surface. Why is this type of training necessary? Because of incidents like this. Scenes like this are rare, but when they happen, sailors and Marines need to be prepared. Being upside down and disoriented while underwater is a life-threatening situation. In the SWET, or Shallow Water Egress Trainer, students are taught to use reference points to orient themselves and find their way out. The multi-place underwater emergency egress trainer, better known as the Dunker, simulates the interior of a transport helicopter. Once the Dunker hits and rolls over, the students must find their reference points, release their lap belts, egress through the proper exits, and swim clear. Simulating a worst-case scenario, blackout goggles are issued. Now, unable to see the exits, students are forced to rely only on handholds and reference points to get to safety. The final bit of pool training covers the hoist, with fire hoses simulating the rotor wash of a helicopter. Once hoisted, the training moves outdoors. The final phase of naval aviation survival training is bay operations. Life raft organization is an important part of sea survival. Students work in groups to flip and overturn life raft, then climb aboard. Assignment of essential duties is taught, such as food gathering, communications, and first aid. The proper use of signaling devices is also covered. And hopefully with a rescue signal comes rescue. The hoist training at poolside is now put to the test as each student experiences the thrill of the rescue.